In a clinical examination room, a doctor's chilling words hang in the air. There's nothing more we can do. Maria gasps, clenching her son Luca's hand as despair threatens to swallow her whole. Once a vibrant boy, Lucas now stares vacantly, trapped in a silent world while his parents' hearts break under the weight of their helplessness. But at that moment, a flicker of hope ignites when a mysterious parish catechist speaks of miracles through Carlo Acutis. But to understand how this seed of hope planted itself in their shattered lives, we need to go back to the beginning. You won't believe what happened next, but before we dive in, make sure to subscribe and tell us where you're watching from. The sun broke through the early morning mist in Braga, Portugal, casting a soft light across the town. Within the Almeida household, Maria stood in the kitchen, her hands trembling slightly as she prepared breakfast. The sounds of sizzling eggs filled the air, but they felt distant, overshadowed by the weight of her anxiety. Today was a pivotal day, the day of Luca's medical review, and with it came a torrent of emotions that twisted in her stomach like a restless storm. In the small living room, 10-year-old Lucas sat forlornly on the floor, surrounded by brightly colored toys that he could no longer play with. Once a bubbling ball of energy, his spirit had dulled since the onset of his severe neurological disorder. The boy who used to dash through the halls, laughter spilling from his lips, was now reduced to staring blankly ahead, lost in a world that felt unreachable. Maria's heart ached at the sight, the vibrant spark that once characterized her son, now a flickering shadow. Carlos, Luca's father, paced back and forth in the narrow hallway, his face etched with worry. An engineer by trade, he thrived on problems that had logical solutions, but this was different. There was no engineering fix for what was happening to his son. The countless doctor visits, endless tests, and disheartening prognosis echoed in his mind. Irreversible, they had said, words that seared through him, leaving deep cuts of despair. He felt powerless, drifting aimlessly in a sea of anguish that had taken hold of their family. "Will today bring any answers?" Maria whispered to herself as she stirred the eggs, tears pricking at her eyes. Memories of Luca's bright, lively self flooded her thoughts, his infectious laughter, his boundless curiosity. Now he struggled to communicate, the vibrant boy she once knew replaced by a silent, unresponsive shell. The uncertainty gnawed at her, leaving her in a constant state of unease. As breakfast finished cooking, Maria glanced into the living room where Lucas sat in silence. She knelt beside him, brushing her fingertips over his hair. "Lucas, sweetheart, I'm here," she murmured gently. His blue eyes flicked toward her, but they were vacant, lacking recognition. Each day felt like an uphill battle steeped in heartache, watching her son fade further away from her grasp. Carlos entered the room, and the couple exchanged a weary glance that spoke volumes. It was a shared understanding, a bond forged in hardship. He wrapped an arm around Maria as they both turned their focus to Lucas. "Today we'll face whatever comes," he murmured, though his voice was thick with uncertainty. Maria nodded, but doubt swirled in her mind like the gray clouds outside. Their journey had taken them through a maze of treatments, each one more disappointing than the last. Hospitals had become their second home, filled with sterile scents and the constant beeping of machines that monitored Luca's condition. With each passing week, hope had dwindled, replaced by a heavy, oppressive sense of defeat. As the hours crawled by, the clock ticked, and the family prepared for yet another visit to the hospital. Lucas remained distant, his eyes glossed over as he stared at the wall. Maria and Carlos helped him dress, a simple task that had become a struggle each morning. They were at a loss, feeling like witnesses to a tragedy playing out in slow motion, a tragedy they were helpless to prevent. Once they arrived at the hospital, the sterile brightness of the waiting room felt overwhelming. Other parents sat quietly, their faces etched with the same worry that consumed Maria and Carlos. They exchanged small glances, a silent acknowledgement of their shared suffering, but words eluded them, a barrier built by their respective burdens. Finally, Lucas was called in for his review. As they entered the examination room, the doctor greeted them with a serious expression that sent a wave of dread crashing over Maria. The walls seemed to close in around them as the doctor detailed the latest findings, confirming the prognosis Maria and Carlos had feared. "There's nothing more we can do. We've exhausted all options," he stated flatly. Each word landed like a hammer striking metal, cold, hard, and crushing. Maria's heart dropped, and she felt tears threatening to spill as she clutched Luca's hand. This wasn't just a loss of hope, it was a staggering blow to their family's entire existence, a future that had become irrevocably bleak. They had lived with uncertainty long enough. They needed a glimmer of hope, a miracle. Outside the hospital, Maria wandered into a quiet corner, desperately trying to breathe through her despair. It was then that Jose Esteves, the parish catechist, approached her gently, his presence warm and reassuring against the chill of her worries. "Maria, I have something to share with you," he said softly. "Have you heard about Carlo Acutis?" The name sparked a flicker of recognition in her mind, but all that followed was confusion. Jose spoke of the young saint, how Carlo, despite his age, had become a beacon of faith, known for his devotion and miraculous intercessions. He shared stories of healed souls and lives transformed, igniting a small spark within Maria that she had long thought extinguished. What if Carlo could help Lucas? Jose mused, his eyes filled with conviction. Maria clung to his words, their weight heavy with possibility. Could there be a way out of this darkness? As Jose continued to speak, Maria felt a stirring in her heart, a stirring that whispered of hope. That evening after returning home, Maria found herself contemplating Jose's words. She placed her hands on the edge of Lucas' bed, staring at his peaceful face as he slept. A surge of determination flooded her as she thought about how to approach the idea of faith in Carlo. She recalled the stories, the miracles, and slowly she began to believe that perhaps, just perhaps, a miracle could touch their lives. With a resolve born from a mother's love, Maria knelt in prayer beside her son's bed. She opened her heart, asking Carlo Acutis for intercession. "Please let there be a miracle for Lucas," she whispered, her voice a trembling caress against the velvet dark of night. As she finished her prayer, Maria slid a small holy card featuring Carlo beneath Lucas' pillow, feeling both the weight of her uncertainty and the pulse of renewed hope intertwining in that intimate moment. The night passed slowly, but for Maria it felt like a turning point, a moment where hope was being gently rekindled in the silence. With each heartbeat, she clung to the belief that change could come, that miracles could emerge even in the quietest of places. And as she drifted off to sleep, the thought lingered in her mind, could this be the beginning of something extraordinary? As the sun rose over Braga, another day began for the Almeida family, but the sense of hope that had taken root in Maria felt almost tangible. She awoke with renewed determination, the small holy card of Carlo Acutis still firmly beneath Lucas' pillow. Each morning the act of retrieving it felt ceremonial, an offering of faith she clung to dearly. Today was different, she told herself. Today, they would take further steps toward healing. After preparing a simple breakfast with steady hands, Maria sat down with Carlos, sharing the lightness that danced in her heart. "I think it's time we truly seek Carlo's intercession," she declared, her voice mirroring the strength she hoped to instill in her husband. "We need to reach out to the parish and see how we can share our story and ask for prayers." Carlos looked up, his expression a mixture of hope and skepticism. "You really believe that a relic can make a difference?" he asked gently, as if testing the waters of her enthusiasm. "I believe in the power of faith," Maria replied, her conviction steady. "We aren't alone in this. If others have found healing, why can't we?" The words hung heavy in the air, charged with possibility. Carlos nodded slowly, his own walls of doubt beginning to crack as he felt the warmth of Maria's certainty seep into his own heart. With a plan in mind, Maria and Carlos sat together at the kitchen table, preparing a letter to Jose Esteves, the parish catechist. They poured their hearts into the words detailing Lucas' journey, their struggles, and their hopes for healing through Carlo's intercession. As Maria wrote, passion surged through her. It felt crucial to share their story, to invite others into their battle for hope. Once completed, they mailed the letter and set a date for prayer at the parish, expecting a gathering that would bring together those also seeking healing and the comfort of community. The thought of being surrounded by others who understood their journey electrified Maria, planting the seeds of hope deeper within her. As the week unfolded, the anticipation grew. Day by day, they prayed together as a family, recounting stories of Carlo as their collective faith began to blossom. Maria found herself eagerly sharing tales of miraculous healings from around the world, allowing Lucas to absorb the spirit of those who had transformed their suffering into hope. The night of the prayer gathering arrived, casting a gentle glow across the small chapel. The atmosphere was infused with warmth and reverence as Maria and Carlos entered, hand in hand, Lucas nestled securely between them. A sense of belonging filled the spaces where sorrow had once lingered, lifting their spirits like a rising tide. Jose welcomed them as they arrived, radiating a calm that put them at ease. The chapel gradually filled with parishioners, each carrying their burdens, their sighs mingling together in the quiet sanctuary. As everyone settled into their seats, Maria felt the walls hum with shared intention, a collective heart yearning for miracles. The gathering began with prayers, each voice fused together in a beautiful harmony echoing through the sacred space. As they recited the litany, Maria offered her own unyielding plea for Lucas. She squeezed his hand tightly, pouring her heart into a silent promise, one that conveyed her love, hope, and faith. After the prayers, Jose spoke passionately about the life of Carlo Acutis, recounting how the young saint had touched countless lives and inspired many miracles. "He had an extraordinary faith," he said, his eyes sparkling with reverence. "He taught us that God is always present, even in our darkness. Tonight, we ask for his intercession on behalf of those seeking healing." The congregation nodded, the atmosphere thickening with shared faith. Maria listened, transfixed, as each word painted a picture of a boy who had persevered in faith through his trials. She glanced over at Lucas, whose expression was softened by a look of understanding. For the first time in what felt like ages, a glimmer of recognition flickered in his eyes, responding to the warmth radiating from the community surrounding him. After the service, the church members gathered in small groups, sharing stories and offering support. Maria felt a pull towards a woman who had been listening intently while cradling her own child. "I've heard about Carlo's miracles too," the woman said with a knowing smile. "My son faced a similar challenge and we prayed fervently through his illness. Healing doesn't always come quickly, but we're never alone." Her words soothed Maria's fevered heart, resonating through her as an affirmation of faith. Days turned into weeks, marked by prayerful evenings and the sound of laughter returning to their home. Maria continued to share stories of miraculous recoveries with Lucas each night, believing the tales served as whispers of hope for him. But reality remained unwavering. The tide of illness still ebbed and flowed. They attended physical therapy sessions where progress was painstakingly slow. At times, Maria felt her faith begin to wane, shadows creeping back into her mind. She missed the sound of Lucas' laughter, the child who'd been slipping farther away with each visit to the hospital. The unease grew as they faced more medical setbacks. Doctors continued to deliver sorrowful news, reminding them of the fragility of each moment they shared. Late one evening, as Maria knelt beside Lucas' bed, tears spilled for the first time in weeks. "I'm scared, Lucas," she admitted under her breath, her heart heavy with concern. "I want so much for you to be well." She leaned closer, her voice trembling. "Please, God, help us, help Lucas." The weight of her prayers hung in the air like a plea echoing into the silence. In the shadows of doubt, the warmth of communal support stood firm. News of their journey began to ripple through the parish, interest and concern growing, families rallying around the Almeidas. Each additional prayer and word of encouragement acted as lamps illuminating the path ahead. One early morning, driving home from a therapy session, Maria felt her heart take on a renewed purpose. Her phone buzzed and she looked down to see a message from Jose. "Let's come together again for a special mass dedicated to healing. Bring Lucas and we'll ask Carlo to intercede with all of our hearts." That evening, as they prepared for the mass, Maria dressed Lucas carefully, restoring warmth to his eyes with every gentle touch. Each step she took toward the church felt like a pilgrimage, a walking testament of faith. With each heartbeat, she promised both herself and Lucas that they would seek healing together, no matter what the future held. As they entered the church, a serene hush fell over them, embracing them with welcome arms. The air was thick with prayer and anticipation, mingling like the soft notes of an unplayed melody. Together, they lit candles that flickered against the darkened walls, each offering a spark of hope and dreams for the future. That night, the community gathered around them, a collective affirmation of faith flying as high as the stars overhead. And as prayers ascended and love encircled the chapel, Maria held Lucas close. A fierce determination blossomed within her heart. It was time for miracles to unfold, time for the healing they had sought, and time to embrace the extraordinary. As the days continued to flow by, each one brought with it a mix of hope and trepidation for the Almeida family. The healing mass had ignited something within them, a fire that burned brightly against the shadows of doubt. As Lucas began to show signs of communication, Maria felt the weight of her prayers transform into a powerful form of faith, guiding them deeper into the season of miracles. Therapy sessions became a canvas for his progress, each visit revealing new colors and textures of growth. Lucas sat focused and engaged, using picture cards to express his thoughts and feelings. One afternoon, sitting across from Maria, Lucas flipped through the vibrant images laid out on the table. "Can you show me the picture of a cat?" the therapist gently prompted, and Lucas suddenly pointed with surprising decisiveness at the image. "Cat," he said with determination. The word hung in the air, a soft but powerful testament of his growing strength. "That's it, Lucas, you did it." Maria's voice quivered with excitement as she leaped to embrace him. Tears of joy brimmed in her eyes as Carlos joined them, his heart swelling with pride. "You're doing so well, buddy," Carlos encouraged, beaming from ear to ear. The warmth of their love radiated through the room as they reveled in this monumental moment. The progress felt electric, filling their home with an energy they hadn't experienced in a long time. Each success was a reminder of the community that surrounded them, the prayers, the shared stories, and the fervent belief in miracles. It was a network woven together by love that held the power to uplift and transform. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting hues of gold and magenta across the sky, Maria and Carlos decided to host a small gathering at their home. They wanted to express their gratitude to everyone who had supported them on their journey. "Let's bring everyone together and celebrate not just our victories, but their unwavering faith as well," Maria suggested. When the evening arrived, the ambience felt festive. The kitchen buzzed with laughter and conversation, and the delightful smells of traditional Portuguese dishes wafted through the air. Friends and parishioners mingled, squeezing together in the small space, their spirits lifted as they shared stories of hope and resilience. After everyone had filled their plates, Maria stood to express her gratitude. "Thank you all for being part of our journey," she began, her voice steady but thick with emotion. "Your support has been a lifeline for us, reminding us that we are never alone in this fight. Lucas has made incredible progress, and I believe it's because of your prayers and love." There was an audible hush. Everyone turned toward Lucas, who sat enjoying the festivities, a quiet smile lighting up his face. Inspired by the warmth radiating from the room, he picked up his fork and pointed it toward his family, a joyful determination shining in his eyes. "Family," he exclaimed, his voice bright with triumph. The room exploded with applause and cheers, the sound echoing against the walls, reverberating with love. Overwhelmed, Maria felt tears of joy cascade down her cheeks. The moment embodied the miracles they had been praying for. Lucas was speaking, truly speaking, connecting with those around him, and showing a resilience that surprised everyone. "Let's remember this night," Carlo suggested, raising his glass. To miracles both big and small, the guests raised their glasses in solidarity. Cheers filled the air as they clinked their glasses, voices mingling in a chorus of hope, love, and gratitude. Weeks turned into months, and Lucas continued to amaze everyone with his progress. The range of his words grew, blossoming like the flowers that dotted their garden outside. Maria made it her mission to read to him every night, drawing him into worlds of adventure and imagination. Each story became an opportunity for Lucas to engage, prompting him to identify characters and describe the scenes he loved. One evening, while reading a book about a boy who traveled to far-off lands, Lucas suddenly interrupted. "I want to go too." His face sparkled with excitement, a reminder of the child he longed to be. "You will, Lucas," Maria replied, her heart swelling with joy. "There are so many adventures waiting for you." Determined to encourage his newfound spirit, Maria and Carlos began planning small outings that would engage Lucas' imagination beyond the confines of their home. They visited parks, local museums, and nature trails, welcoming the rejuvenation of life absorbed through shared experiences. Every moment seemed to breathe life into Lucas' words, igniting his confidence and nurturing his desire to communicate. One sunny Saturday, they ventured to a nearby botanical garden. Maria watched as Lucas ran from flower to flower, marveling at the colors and scents that surrounded him. He paused frequently to giggle at the gentle flutter of butterflies dancing around him. "Mommy, look," he pointed excitedly, as a vibrant blue butterfly settled nearby. For the first time, Lucas lifted his hand and gently reached towards the creature. Witnessing this moment brought Maria to tears, a moment saturated with joy and the promise of recovery, whispering sweet affirmations to her soul. Their excursions became cherished milestones, layered with affirmations of hope and healing. Each journey reinforced the tapestry woven by their devotion and faith, communities woven with love intertwining as they continued to embrace the extraordinary. Then came the day for a visit to the doctor, a momentous occasion given the journey they had traveled together. Maria's heart raced with anticipation and anxiety as they approached the hospital. She had mentally prepared notes of all Lucas' achievements, everything from his newly acquired words to his growing independence. "Let's show the doctor what you can do," Maria encouraged quietly as they walked, a soft hand resting on Lucas' shoulder. Inside the consultation room, Dr. Pedro Silva entered with a warm smile, his eyes lighting up as he greeted them. "I've been looking forward to seeing you all," he said, genuine warmth radiating from him. As they caught up on Lucas' progress, Maria could see the interest in Dr. Silva's eyes. Maria began recounting Lucas' achievements, her heart racing with pride. "He's using words," he pointed at pictures and even named family members. As she detailed their journey, Dr. Silva nodded, clearly impressed. With a subtle shift in tone, he leaned forward, engaging with Lucas directly. "Lucas, I'd love to hear you say a few words," he encouraged warmly. The room grew quiet, eyes focused intently on Lucas. For a moment, nervousness washed over him, but then he took a deep breath. "I love my family," he declared with a bright smile. To see his confidence emerge made Maria's heart dance with joy as she exchanged glances with Carlos, pride reflecting back at one another. "Outstanding, Lucas, that is such a wonderful thing to say," Dr. Silva praised, his voice thick with admiration. With every word of affirmation, the weight of worry slowly lifted from Maria's shoulders. To hear her son out loud, expressing love so freely, filled her with indescribable joy. "Lucas, we see tremendous improvement, and I'm excited to continue this journey with you," Dr. Silva said, his sincerity mirroring their growing hope. The visit culminated in a new plan for Luca's treatment and further encouragement to maintain the therapy sessions that had catalyzed his communication. As they left the office, Maria beamed with pride, the corner of her lips stretching brighter than the sun. They continued to talk about all the adventures that lay ahead, the things they would discover together as a family, challenges they would overcome, and the miracles that lay just within reach. With each passing day, Maria understood that the journey was not just about Luca's healing, but a journey of faith, love, and growth as a family. They had descended into the depths of darkness, yet emerged hand in hand into the radiant light. It was a testament to the power of belief, the strength of community, and the extraordinary miracles that happen when hearts unite in hope. Their lives had transformed, and as they walked through the world together, they carried both the weight of the past and the promise of the future, a journey steeped in faith and rich with love. And as Maria tucked Lucas into bed that night, she leaned down to whisper, "I believe in you, Lucas. We won't stop fighting together." With a smile gracing his lips, Lucas looked up, his eyes shimmering with joy, ready to embrace whatever the adventure might bring. The dawn of a new day painted the horizon in soft shades of pink and gold as Maria watched the light filter into Luca's room. He slept soundly, a peaceful expression on his face. It was a precious sight she had missed so much during the darker days of his illness. Gently, she brushed the hair from his forehead and whispered, "Good morning, my brave boy." Today was significant. It marked 6 months since their fateful journey began, and the family had arranged a special celebration at their local parish to honor their progress. Friends and supporters were coming together to share in their joy and instill encouragement for the road ahead. In her heart, Maria felt the weight of hope thrumming softly, a reminder of all they had overcome and all that lay before them. After breakfast, Maria dressed Lucas in his favorite outfit, a bright blue shirt adorned with cartoon trucks. "You're going to look amazing today," she exclaimed, fastening the buttons with loving care. As she fussed over him, Lucas chuckled, his laughter echoing in the room, threading joy through the air like a melody. With every giggle, her heart soared a little higher. "Ready to go, champion," Carlos called out, his voice warm and inviting as he appeared in the doorway, donning a matching outfit for Lucas. "We've got a celebration to attend." Lucas nodded enthusiastically, a brilliant smile lighting up his face. Holding Carlos' hand tightly, they walked to the car together. Maria couldn't help but feel a bubbly excitement course through her veins as she joined them. Today was not just a celebration of healing, it was a celebration of love, faith, and community. As they arrived at the parish, the air buzzed with anticipation. Families gathered under colorful banners, their laughter mingling with the sound of children playing in the nearby grass. Maria felt a warm embrace of familiarity wrap around her as they stepped onto the grounds. Friends greeted them with open arms, excited to be part of the joyful occasion. Maria, Carlos, Lucas, Jose rushed to them, his face flushed with enthusiasm. "I'm so glad you could make it. This day is all about celebrating each of you." His smile illuminated the area, and Maria felt a sense of belonging swell within her heart. With the sun streaming overhead, Maria and Carlos mingled, exchanging stories and laughter with friends. Lucas ran off to play games with the other children, his laughter ringing through the air like a song. The sight thrilled Maria, a sign of his blossoming confidence and growth that brought tears to her eyes. As the festivities unfolded, Jose rose to address the gathering crowd. "Today, we celebrate not just Luca's incredible progress, but the power of community that unites us all in faith and love. Each prayer, each supporting word has woven together a tapestry of hope." The crowd erupted into applause, a unified cheer spreading through the gathered families. Next, they called Lucas forward, inviting him to share a few words. Maria felt her heart race as they encouraged him to speak into the microphone. He stepped onto the stage, looking a bit shy but steeling himself with determination. "I love my family," he said clearly, projecting his voice with newfound confidence. The crowd cheered, and Maria felt an overwhelming rush of warmth wash over her. Her heart soared at that simple, profound expression, every letter a sign of strength, every word a reminder of their journey. Later in the day, a series of games and activities continued to unfold. Maria took a moment to step away, seeking a quiet corner to reflect. The gentle rustle of leaves in the trees above brought a sense of peace. She closed her eyes, allowing herself to absorb the love that surrounded her. "Thank you, God," she whispered, "for this journey, for the miracles we have witnessed." After some time, footsteps approached and Carlos sat beside her. "What's on your mind?" he asked, his voice soft and encouraging. "I'm just grateful for everything, for Lucas, for us, and for this community. It feels like a dream," she confessed, her voice thick with emotion. "It is a dream we fought for every single day," Carlos replied, wrapping his arm around her shoulder, "and we will continue to fight as long as we need to." As the sun began to set, casting a warm glow across the celebration, they gathered together to share a meal beneath the twilight sky. Laughter and chatter filled the air as friends exchanged tales, bringing even more joy to the evening. Maria watched Lucas as he mingled effortlessly, another joy illuminating her heart. As they settled down to eat, someone at the table asked Lucas, "What's your favorite thing to do now that you can talk again?" Lucas looked thoughtful for a moment, then replied, "I want to tell stories, like in the books." The table erupted into laughter and applause, and Maria beamed with pride. This was the boy she had always known, breaking free from the confines of silence. That night, as everyone exchanged hugs and goodbyes, Jose pulled Maria aside. "You've inspired so many of us with your courage and faith," he said with genuine warmth. "It's been incredible to witness Luca's progress. I truly believe he's on the path to great things." "I couldn't have done it without everyone's support, especially you," Maria replied, her heart swelling with gratitude. They stood together, hands clasped, knowing that their bond was fortified by shared belief and love. As they drove home under a canopy of stars, smiles glued to their faces, Maria reflected on the day. Lucas chatted excitedly about the games he played, the friends he made, and the joy he felt. She soaked in every moment, every detail, a perfect snapshot of happiness etched in her memory. Once home, she gathered Lucas into her arms, tucking him into bed. "You amazed everyone today, you know that," she said, brushing back his hair. "You are a miracle, Lucas." As he nestled under the covers, he looked up at her, his eyes reflecting a quiet confidence. "Mommy, I want to tell stories with you every night." "Then let's start right now," she replied, her heart dancing with joy. They embarked on a new bedtime ritual, the telling of imaginative stories that whisked them away to magical lands filled with adventure. Maria knew that their journey was just beginning. Each night of storytelling became a thread woven tighter in their tapestry of love and healing. They had traversed the stormy seas of despair and emerged, hand in hand, into the brightness of hope. With every word spoken, Maria felt the weight of past struggles lift further from her heart. The horizon shimmered with the promise of extraordinary adventures waiting ahead, and together they would embrace every moment, together threading through life's tapestry with love, courage, and unwavering faith. The weeks rolled into a comforting rhythm, each day infused with joy and optimism. Lucas continued to flourish in his interactions, his newfound voice breaking free from the shadows that had long held him captive. Morning cuddles with Maria transformed into engaging conversations where he expressed his thoughts and dreams with an enthusiasm that filled their home with light. As the weather warmed, Maria and Carlos decided to expand their adventure horizon. They began taking Lucas on nature hikes where the beauty of the outdoors seemed to invigorate both his spirit and imagination. The colors of spring painted the landscape with vibrant hues, and each step they took together through the woods became a new opportunity to explore. One sunny Saturday, they ventured into a local nature reserve, the sun shining brightly, the atmosphere heavy with the scent of blooming flowers. Perched on a small hill was a grand tree, its branches sprawling wide, inviting exploration. "Can we climb that tree?" Lucas asked, excitement bubbling in his voice. "Of course, just be careful, little adventurer," Carlos replied, encouraging Lucas to lead the way. With determination glimmering in his eyes, Lucas approached the tree, studying its gnarled trunk and strong limbs. Maria watched with pride as he clambered up, driven by his new sense of independence. As he reached a sturdy branch, he called down, "I can see everything from up here." The sight made Maria's heart swell with joy. The climb was more than just a physical activity. It was emblematic of Lucas' journey, every layer of progress representing a step toward freedom as he overcame his fears. "Look, Mommy," Lucas exclaimed, his voice echoing through the trees. "There's the park where we play." He pointed at the distant swath of green, and Maria felt a swell of warmth envelop her, each little triumph stitched deeper into the fabric of their lives. Once they descended, Lucas dashed off to explore the paths. Maria and Carlos followed closely, their hearts lightened by their days filled with laughter. Every chance they had to instill confidence in Lucas became a treasured opportunity, a chance to teach him resilience and faith. As the weeks flew by, the therapy sessions evolved into a blend of structured learning and playful exploration. Lucas grew more engaged, actively sharing stories about his day with the therapists, experimenting with his expression. Each session became warmer, a light filling the room as they navigated the world of words and communication together. Then came the day of a community art fair, an event organized to celebrate creativity and encourage local talents. Maria felt an excitement bubble in her chest as they entered the vibrant space filled with colors, paintings, and smiles. "Let's make a painting together," Lucas suggested, reducing Maria to giggles at the sheer joy radiating from him. Supported by both parents, Lucas eagerly stepped up to the easel, armed with paintbrushes and a palette filled with vibrant colors. With each stroke he made, his artistry took shape, blending colors and creating landscapes that mirrored his imagination. "Look, Mommy, it's a dragon soaring through the sky," he proclaimed, eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. Maria watched, her heart swelling with pride and delight as she recognized not just the painting but the expanse of Lucas' spirit spilling out onto the canvas. The art he created became not just an image, but a symbol of everything he had overcome, a monument to resilience, passion, and the warmth of encouragement that surrounded him. At that moment next to the easel, surrounded by community and love, Maria felt a warmth rise in her heart. Not only was Lucas blooming artistically, but he was solidifying connections, bonds forged through shared experiences, laughter, and supportive glances. With their canvas complete, the family stepped back to admire their work, a colorful testament to their journey together. "This is our masterpiece," Carlos declared, taking turns to exchange delight in their contributions. Later, they gathered in the open courtyard where local musicians played soft melodies that filled the air with sweetness. Maria and Carlos settled on a blanket, encouraging Lucas to join near them, still holding paint-drenched hands. Dancers weaved through the crowd, their movements fluid, drawing everyone around into a joyful rhythm. "Can I dance?" Lucas asked, eyes wide with anticipation. "Of course, sweetie," Maria replied, embracing the wonder she felt in her heart. As he slipped away to join the other children, she knew this moment was a crucial step toward helping him reclaim parts of himself that had long been buried. Their family continued to dance together, laughter mixing with the music. Sometimes it would swirl and twirl among the crowd, while other times Lucas would break off to play with new friends, showing off his bravado and bravery as he formed bonds of friendship that made his heart soar. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting the sky in hues of orange and purple, a sense of unity enveloped the celebration. The art fair turned into a gathering where stories were shared, connections were forged, and healing became tangible. That night when they returned home, they nestled on the couch together as a family, exhausted but filled with pure joy. "What a beautiful day, my brave knight," Maria whispered, wrapping Lucas in her arms. "I painted a dragon and I danced," Lucas replied with bubbling excitement. In that moment, Maria realized how vital these experiences would be for Lucas, each moment affirming his journey from silence to voice, from struggle to triumph. As they prepared for sleep that night, Maria read to Lucas, weaving tales of adventure and bravery, reinforcing the idea that he was a hero in his own right. As she turned off the light, she whispered, "I believe in you, Lucas. You can do anything you set your mind to." Before drifting off, Lucas turned to her, his eyes shining like stars. "With you, Mommy, I can do it all." Filled with hope and inspiration, Maria tucked him in, knowing that together they were not just nurturing a future, they were crafting a legacy of connection and love that would stay with them forever, guiding them through every adventure awaiting on the horizon. As the weeks turned into months, the Almeida family's bond deepened, enriched by the love and support from their community. Lucas continued to flourish, and with each passing day his voice grew stronger and more confident. No longer was he just speaking words, he was telling stories, pouring the light of his vibrant imagination into every narrative. One afternoon, after a particularly inspired storytelling session with his club, Lucas raced home, bursting with excitement. "Mommy, I told a story about a wizard who saved his village," he exclaimed, his eyes sparkling with the thrill of creation. Maria knelt to his level, immersed in his enthusiasm. "That is amazing, Lucas. I love that you're creating your own adventures." Her heart brimmed with pride as she realized that his storytelling was not just a reflection of his progress, it was a part of who he was. "Can we write a book together? I want it to be about the wizard," he urged, a spark lighting within him. "Absolutely, we can create the best wizard book ever," Maria agreed, her heart swelling at the thought. Together, they engaged in an adventure of their own, brainstorming ideas, sketching characters, and weaving narratives that incorporated Lucas' experiences and wild imagination. They spent countless evenings together, creating illustrations filled with colorful spells and heroic quests. With each page crafted, Maria saw Lucas thrive, his confidence blooming like a flower in the sun, transforming every moment of struggle into a tapestry of hope. Then came the day when the Children's Art Club at the parish announced a celebration showcasing their talents. Jose suggested that Lucas could present their magical story as part of the event, a way to share his journey with the community. Maria felt a rush of excitement mixed with concern. "Do you think you want to share your story on stage, Lucas?" she asked, knowing the courage it would take. Yes, I want to be brave like my wizard, he replied, determination resolute in his voice. Maria felt her heart swell, and with a reassuring smile, she assured him of her unwavering support. As the event approached, the anticipation swirled in the air. Maria watched Lucas prepare for his moment in front of the audience, juggling nerves and excitement. They rehearsed together, Lucas saying his story with a mix of enthusiasm and a twinge of apprehensiveness. Take a deep breath, she advised. Just remember, everyone loves your story. When the night of the showcase arrived, the church hall was alive with energy, filled to the brim with families eager to support their children. The atmosphere buzzed with laughter, colors dancing around as parents gathered to capture moments of their children's achievements. Finally, it was Luca's turn. Maria's heart raced as he walked to the front, clutching their homemade book. He paused at the edge of the stage to glance back at her, and she nodded, a silent affirmation that he could do this. "Hello, everyone," Lucas began, his voice ringing out with a surprising steadiness. As he shared his tale, the story of the brave wizard who saved his village, Maria felt a wave of pride wash over her. The audience was captivated, hanging onto every word, and she watched as Lucas grew bolder with each sentence. By the end of his story, the room erupted into warm applause, filling the space with a symphony of joy. Lucas stood beaming, pride radiating from him like the sun. As he walked back to Maria, she enveloped him in a hug, her heart soaring. "You did it, Lucas. You were amazing." "That was fun," he exclaimed, his smile brighter than ever. The newfound joy he felt had solidified his belief in himself, and she knew this moment would be etched in both their memories forever. As they celebrated with friends and family after the event, Maria felt deep gratitude to the community that surrounded them. They had lifted Lucas up, casting away shadows of doubt and instilling faith within him, reinforcing the power of connection and love that nurtured his spirit. On the drive home that night, with the stars shimmering above them, Maria reflected on how far they had come. "We're all heroes in this story," she said softly, smiling at Lucas through the rearview mirror, "and you've inspired everyone." Lucas grinned, taking her words to heart. "I want to write more stories," he declared, already dreaming of the adventures to come. Maria smiled, knowing that together they would keep nurturing this spark, the joy of storytelling, exploration, and connection. As bedtime approached, Maria tucked Lucas into bed once again, their routine embraced by the warmth of familiarity. "Tonight, let's dream big. What adventure will we go on in our dreams?" she asked, brushing her fingers through his hair. Lucas thought for a moment before responding, "A treasure hunt with pirates, and I'll be the captain." "Then I can't wait to hear all about it in the morning," Maria smiled, leaning down to kiss him gently on the forehead. As she turned off the light, leaving a soft glow from his nightlight, Lucas murmured, "I love you, Mommy." "I love you too, my brave knight," she whispered back. In that sacred space of their home, Maria felt the weight of worries slip away, replaced by the light of hope. They had embarked on a journey together, and each day was a step toward greater adventures, a testament to resilience, healing, and the unbreakable spirit tethering them through life's ups and downs. Together, armed with love and imagination, they were ready to embrace whatever unfolded on the horizon. What did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more. Click the video on the left to hear another story.